truth you find is the key now. Reach your fear and you will all be free now. Community, it's time to get better. You can't avoid it, we're all in this together. Head high, fill your heart with love and light now. Come together and it will be alright now. Come together, you can't run forever. Come together, it's now, oh, it's never. Community, kids are dying in the streets now. Change your mind, unity is all we need now. Community, kids are dying in the streets now. Change your mind, unity is all we need now. Change your mind, unity is all we need now. Change your mind, unity is all we need.
Hey, we're here again, Chris Sanders with Community All Unite TV. I am your host, and we are on Comcast Cable and Xfinity, channel 1097 and 190. We have a special treat for you today. On Thursdays, you gotta check our Thursdays from 8 to 8:30, and check us out on YouTube. And please subscribe, like, comment, and share. You know, the comments, we take those comments to heart. We want to make our show as good as it can be, and I believe that with your comments and some of your critiques or whatever, your likes and things that we can do again or things that you want to see, that's going to make us even a stronger advocate for the community. Yes, we are an advocate for the community because we want to bring knowledge to you about, of course, politics. We want to bring knowledge to you about activism, entrepreneurship, health and wellness. We definitely want to talk about, you know, arts and entertainment, because a lot of our entertainers, they are going to be catalysts. I always say, this is what I say every day, almost every day to myself, the black women, I'm saying this to you, you are the ones that created the origination of all things are from the black woman. And guess who's going to help be the leaders to solve the problem? All right, I'm a visionary. I don't say I didn't tell you. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. I know you're gonna need as many people as possible, but I know I'll follow you. I'll give you ideas. I'll help work it out. I'll negotiate. I guess this young man right here, he would love to negotiate too, because he's actually an advisor. He gives me some different viewpoints. You know, some things he's on another level of understanding, and some things I'm learning, and some things I don't agree with, and some things I do. But we are here together because I learn and I evolve and I reevaluate my positions based off of all information. And that's why we are Community All Unite TV. You see how I brought that back around? Kyle Patrick has been my childhood friend. I've known him since I think I was like, 10 or 9 years old. And he is doing big things. I enjoy talking to him. And of course, we talk at least once a month about different issues and things that get another's perspective, because I like all perspectives. I love Chinese perspectives. I love the Indian perspectives. I love the Jewish perspectives. I love, white perspectives. I love all cultural perspectives on items that involve community. Community All Unite TV is here. We're going to be here for a while. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, you can see all the videos. And I'm not just talking about what needs to happen in our community. I'm giving you solutions, and then we come together and we make them make the change. Just like Obama said, if you want me to change something, make me do it. And that's where we have to come together, because everything can be done if we're together. Yes, we brought Biden in office, we brought Obama in office with the majority. And that's how we have to create change with the majority. That's how we have to fight back the people that are all money hungry, bloodsuckers trying to take the money from the community and not caring, not being sensitive. I'm not talking about anybody in particular, because I'm not going there. But you know who it is. Yes, Kyle Patrick is here. Yeah. So Kyle, talk to me about your journey. Journey from innocence to the fact that you started understanding some dynamics about who your mentors are and how you got to this reality of understanding of what's going on in this community, what's going on in this government, what's going on in this political space, what's going on globally. and bring me to where you are today. I don't mind giving us your emotional sob story of, oh, I found out, I was smacked in the face the other day. I found out the government is really trying to systematically destroy us. I don't mind having that conversation. Oh, you found out the other day, when I was walking down the street and I saw some police brutality, I realized where that came from and why they're doing this and why it's a culture. We're about to talk about some stuff. And then we're open to it. Let's get it going.
With me, I would say probably grammar school. Went to St. Mary's, and I had questions about the Bible.
That's in Scotch Plains, right?
On 6th Street.
On 6th Street in Plainfield. Okay.
So my question was, I got suspended for it. Was about Noah's Ark, and I was like, well, it's not possible. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, where you gonna put whales? This is not possible. You get every species on the planet, put them in a boat, and ferry them somewhere else. That's just ridiculous. As the years went on, high school, things didn't match, didn't fit as far as we talking about history. I come from a family of educators, and they would tell me specific things and stuff like that. Right around, I would say, my senior year in high school, I saw Eyes on the Prize. In high school, you're taught Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Charles Drew, a little blurb on slavery, very like a small paragraph. I saw that, and it was they showed Malcolm X. And what he was saying, I never heard any African American say any of those things before, so that made me very curious. Flash forward to 2 years later, a lot of different things. I just run across different people, and then someone gave me the book. He was like, yo, you need to read this book. It was the autobiography of Malcolm X. That changed everything. I was 20. As the years passed, I continued to read more and more about, just studying, African American history, African history in general, studying it, learning stuff like that, and seeing that things just did not fit. I played football. Long before captain, I was playing semi-pro football. I never stood for the anthem. I used to sleep on the bench, actually, before games. As the years pass, you become an outsider because you're not going along with whatever the status quo is within, the African American community. Everything is about Martin King Jr., his dream, his ideology. Not against Dr. King at all. His ideology doesn't fit for me. We grew up together, so I'm the type of person, you lay hands on me, I'm gonna retaliate. So Malcolm X talked about, well, before him, even Elijah Muhammad talked about having a nation state. Malcolm X agreed with that. Marcus Garvey also, that was his plan as well. Malcolm X's parents were Garveyites. So a lot of time for years, man, I just stayed silent. It was basically like walking out in the desert. You're amongst your own people, but you can't say, you can't put these beliefs out there because you're controversial, radical. Then probably about 10, 12 years ago, I found about Dr. Amos Wilson.
You skipped over the fact that you were a supermodel.
that didn't last long.
Well, that was, you was giving Tyson Beck for the run for his money.
I didn't get Tyson Beck for money.
Right.
It didn't work out. It just didn't work out. It was. If you want to go that route, knock yourself out. But, it didn't work out. But I learned about those, Dr. Amos Wilson, who pretty much finished my education about where Black folks need to go. Studying Garvey, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, Barbara Sizemore, Francis Welsing, Kwame Ture. These are all the people where my philosophy was shaped from these individuals.
Say those books again, because I want these young folks to understand that we have to be well versed in our culture by understanding who are leaders that were talking and waking us up. It's almost like the Matrix. You're gonna take the red pill or the blue pill. Do you want to stay asleep and be a part of this environment where you're kind of not really understanding why things are happening to you, or do you want to be awake and understand these things are happening systematically? I had a young lady on the show the other day. Her name was Linda McDonald Carter, and she's an attorney. And she was going through the Constitution and explaining how these systems are set up and explaining how they have continued growing roots and what we have to do to kind of pull these roots out so that we can kind of reclaim some type of power. Her new stance is people power. It used to be power to the people, and now she wants to start a new enlightenment wave called people power. And from then, I'm just trying to refer this back to those people that you used to become awakened, like the Matrix. Well, say those names clear so these people can look those books up.
I start with Marcus Garvey, then Elijah Muhammad,
Yeah.
Malcolm X,
Mm-hmm.
Kwame Ture,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Amos Wilson,
Yes.
Dr. Ben Jokanan,
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Sizemore, and Francis Cress Welsing. My personal favorites, Malcolm X and Dr. Amos Wilson, one-on-one, and Dr. John Henry Clark. Those are the three that I'll get most of my philosophy shaped by. Those three individuals. Those are the ones I've studied the most.
Mm-hmm.
And Kwame Ture.
Right.
If you're here in Newark, you can go right down to the source of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got all the Dr. Amos Wilson books, every single one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's books on there about Malcolm X, autobiography of Malcolm X. There's books about Marcus Garvey. There's books about these individuals, and you don't hear about these people. You don't. Everything is to focus on. Again, this is not a knock on the Honorable Dr. King, but everything is about Dr. King.
Mm-hmm.
And the specific individuals who speak about Dr. King don't even represent what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, because if you look at Malcolm X, you look at Amos Wilson, you look at John Henry Clark, you look at Amos Wilson, I said it before, these people did not die wealthy. Martin Luther King was not making money off the black struggle. Neither was Malcolm X, neither was Dr. Amos Wilson, neither was Marcus Garvey. They were not making money off the black struggle. You had people who were on YouTube, who were on specific news channels, who were on specific radio stations, making money off of the black struggle.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what you should be doing. You should be sharing information. Dr. Amos Wilson said that. If you want to read books, yes, you should read books about African-centered ideology, but you also need to understand where you live, what you're dealing with. You need to read books also written by white authors. If you know it's a lie, then you can call it out for what it is, but you need to have an understanding of who you are dealing with within the confines of this country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now, when you became a part of your organization, what is it? It's the BAIO. It's on your shirt right now. BAIOAfricaStan.org. Yeah. So that is something that, from the point of your awareness, which was very young. And I mean, I read Malcolm X about the same time you did, because I was in college. I was working as a lifeguard, and then every break that I had, I was reading, Malcolm X's autobiography. So we're about the same age. We became enlightened. Another thing that got me enlightened was early on, just like you. I asked my aunt. I said, I was, she's very religious, and she was the person that first taught me about Jesus Christ. So I said to her, why did God make it so that when Adam Adam bit the apple, that it had to be good and bad? Why did it have to be good and bad? Why couldn't it be good and not as good, or good and even more better, so that we can all stay on the right path? But then I became more wise to that. I was like, okay, you need opposites. Opposites are necessary, even in the sense of measuring time. If you don't have an opposite energy, there is no time and space. If you don't have gravity, you can't have space. It won't. There's different things the way the system is set up, that you don't have to work as hard as you're working, because things are set up. And I always talk about universal law of attraction, and how you're able to create your abundance through your gifts and talents. But you have to take the effort. You have to put the effort and time into fine-tune those gifts and talents. I mean, skill is one thing. And if you have a talent and you don't make it into a skill, then it just becomes another talent that a person might have, but he didn't really develop it. And then once you learn the skill, then you become valuable in your mind. Intellectual property is not about money. Everybody's about the money. But if you have the intellectual property, the money comes. And so you have done the research has been giving you intellectual property that's going to cause you to be to elevate yourself to another time and space. And I say this because your perspective is your reality, and your reality is your perspective. If I want to believe in the systematic storyline that I was given by the European stories, then that becomes my reality. But if I understand who we are, what kings and queens black folks have come from, and we're the origination of humankind, then the reality starts changing. My perspective starts changing. I start opening up, and I start being able to talk about my culture with more, gravitas of a king, because I am from kings. Even though I have some Cherokee in my blood. We have Indian in our blood. So the Cherokees. Every movie, which is a bad depiction, right? But when you look at those images of the Cherokee Indian, the Indian chief, he always had this presence of if you want to symbolize it as a king, but as a leader, as somebody that was not afraid of anyone. And fear is another topic. We always talk about fear. I don't want to stop you from expressing yourself, but I'm giving you this energy from me to help bring out the things that I have been hearing with you, and how you're my mentor. You have always had this king dynamic. I look at you and I see you walking in a place, and I say, that's a powerful brother. And it ain't just about the fact that he has good hands. It ain't the fact that he could probably do the pressure point killing trick on your whole body and make your whole body go do the crackhead. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the way that you always presented yourself from the day that I met you to now. How did you get that worth within yourself and the way you presented yourself?
I would say part of it has to do with being an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, we had our scraps and stuff like that, but I took it upon myself, like, this is our block. We can argue, like me, you, Terrence, John, David, Kyle, we can argue much on each other's scrap and stuff like that, but you're not coming on this block.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not picking on, I'm picking on you, not picking on Terrence or Dave. That's not how it's gonna go down.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes from athletics. I was not forced like forced, but my cousin Art, he was older than us.
Mm-hmm.
He was 4 or 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I played football with older kids. And one time, I was playing with my cousin, I was playing with the older kids, and I got embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Went home and talked to my father, and I was upset. I was almost in tears. My father was like, what are you gonna do? He was like, you're gonna sit here and just complain about it and cry about it? He was like, what do warriors do? You fight. So what are you gonna do next time we go out there? I'm like, I want to embarrass them, and I did. And then, to be honest with you, man, like when I was in high school and stuff like that, it wasn't the same. When I got on the field, I was a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually kind of introverted in specific ways. Like I read the room, and then if there's discussion, all right, I may chime in and stuff like that. But I always had this thing like, you ain't walking up on me,
Mm-hmm.
up in my physical space, and trying to inflict some type of bodily harm, and not thinking that you can walk in, in a room, but you're leaving out on a stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at just black men, black women, black children in America, you've been pushed around for 425 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I carry myself basically with the attitude, you don't want, there won't be none. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna back down to you. You're not my master. You ain't my lord. You're not anything.
Mm-hmm.
The origin of my, my pseudonym, my name, Ronin Black. Ronin. A Ronin serves no man. No
Mm-hmm.
man is my master.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at this society.
That's one of your mentors.
A lot of it reading about the 47 Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the 47 Ronin, They served a Diamu, a lord, a master.
Mm-hmm.
So you had different provinces in China, not China, Japan. So if they fought against another province, against this Diamu, and they lost, that winning side, that Diamu from that side, he could take on those samurais, or he could just dispel them, and they became Ronins. That's what a Ronin is. He's a samurai, a masterless samurai. Some of them became drunkards, some became assassins, some became mercenaries, some of them just retired. But the essence was, you are your own man. You don't serve anyone. You can choose your path. African Americans need to choose their path in America. You want to go along with the silly nonsense that goes on here day to day, day in, day out, or you can choose your own path. The majority of the problems here in America can be summed up in, like I said, land, infrastructure, nationhood. If you have an independent nation, you control every facet of society, all of it. The politics, the economics, the education, the commerce, all of it. You control every aspect of society. That means you don't have to be waiting for them to pass this bill, that bill, this bill. You control every facet of that society. So you don't have to worry about your kids, their hair, they have dreadlocks, you gotta cut their hair so they can go to school. You don't have to worry about dress codes, you gotta dress like this, go on this job, do this, stuff like that. You don't have to worry about in a space where you have to make white folks comfortable, but that same thing is not reciprocated to you. That's madness.
One question. Now, like any small particles, right? Let me just give you an example. If there's a vibration on a table and you drop some sand, it's going to eventually, have a different movement that possibly become a structure of that sand on that table. Like for instance, you have your own nation state. What's we call it? A nation state, right? You have your own individual nation state, and these people that are beginning to create this nation state, they have to be the kind of their own lawmakers, their own structure makers, their own, basically they're going to lay out the ideas for the rest of the community. Because there's no way, even back in Africa with tribes, there's always been a hierarchy, and there's going to be people that are the ones that I guess promote the laws, write the laws, and create that law, and then there are going to be people that follow those laws. And then if there's a dispute, then of course, I don't know what type of system would be created. Would it be a democratic system where there's going to be they're going to be voting for a new leader, or is it going to just be a dictatorship? So what kind of models are you going to use to create this nation state?
Well, within our group, it's a collective. There's no leadership. It's a collective leadership. So you're talking Gen Xers, millennials, and even a few baby boomers. Liberia is a nation state which was founded by African slaves. They went there, the early 1820s. So you have a constitution written by African Americans. So you can go. So so you're talking about a canvas is already in place. It's there. So you can build on it and have a true democracy where you can have multiple parties, unlike here, where again, you're controlling the shots. You look at Liberia, and I'm not an expert on Liberia. There's a member in our group, a very brilliant 21-year-old named Jabari, he is our guy when it comes to Liberia. But you're talking about a nation state where you control. There was no Liberia before Americans went from here back over to the continent and established a nation state. So you have a concept within specific African American groups here in America, if they call themselves African Americans, because African Americans are a scattered group of individuals. That's the truth. There is no true unity within a community. I'm sorry to tell people that, but that is the truth, because you have Pan-Africanists, you have people who are Hebrew Israelites, ADOS, FBA, stuff like that. But you're not focusing on trying to build a nation state within a nation. How did that work out between the North and the South? You had a civil war. So you can't possibly think logically that the United States government is going to give black folks a state to themselves in the United States and not think that there's some type of repercussion for that happening. That just come on, it's not going to happen.
But is that supposed to be reparations or something?
No, but that's the belief. That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
you hear people on YouTube.
And Farrakhan's in the Nation of Islam's belief that they should have a spot in the United States, focused on letting the black folks govern themselves. And that's not going. I do not subscribe to that even happening effectively. There's no way that can happen. I mean, the closest there is to those type of situations are, of course, having to do with cultures that come in with the money and the strategy, like the Jewish culture, like the Chinese culture, and they have their own Chinatown, the Jewish areas in New York. Even here, there's becoming different areas where the Jewish are populated, and they create their own. Even in I think it's a Metuchen. There's the Indian culture that's just taken over a certain amount of the city.
Road.
Yeah, so that's the closest that I could see something happening like that. But that has to be with you having your own determination and being able to unify and pool your resources, like so many of some of the, like even that thing that with the Black Bank, I forgot what the name of that bank is, that Diddy and all of them, Killer Mike and all of them want you to put your money in there to pool your resources so that eventually we can have some spaces like that. But I totally would love to investigate going to Liberia and creating a dynamic there, which has already, I didn't even know that African Americans went back there to start that area, and that's how that formed. So that's something that, I remember telling you before, so that's something really interesting.
There's a lot of information. South Carolina, we have some brothers and sisters that live on the continent. We have some who are living in different parts of the world. But we're not against, we don't care where you're from. We don't care if you're from Jamaica. We don't care if you're from Brazil. We don't care if you're from Ghana. We don't care if you're from Botswana. We don't care if you're from South Carolina, Chicago, Philadelphia. It makes no difference. If you believe that African Americans could have an independent nation state, you believe in land infrastructure, they should, to put an end to this madness, 495 years of mental trauma living here in the United States of America. Join BAIO.org. We need professionals, we need architects, we need engineers, doctors, lawyers. We need professionals. Because to build a nation state, that's what you need. You need engineers, you need architects, you need all of these things. We need telecom, people who are well-versed in telecom technology. We need all of that within this, and also have people who will be able to sit down and break bread on the continent over in Liberia.
Got it. Community All Unite TV. We did it again. Chris Sanders is your host, and we are on Comcast Cable and Xfinity every Thursday from 8 to 8:30. That's every Thursday from 8 to 8:30. And you can find us on YouTube. What we do is we put these shows out on of course, Comcast Cable and Xfinity. But because of the fact that we're getting so much great reviews and getting so many people that want to be on the show and give their story, we are backlogged. So that's only once a week. And so what we have is YouTube as our backup, where we can show all of the shows as right after they're being done. So please check YouTube out, subscribe, share. If you like it, please like, and then of course comment, so we can make it better for our community. Thanks again. Over and out.
Community. It's a fight now. Right now. It's a fight now. Community. It's a fight now. Head high. Get ready for a fight now. It's a fight now. Eyes wide. It's now. It's a fight now. It's a fight now. Just remember and fill your heart with love now. In your truth, you find is the key now. Reach your fear and you will all be free now.